Hello, welcome to Wisdom Hour on the 1st of March. Yes, that means we're heading out of winter, aren't we? And hopefully into a wonderful spring. Would be nice over here in Ireland. I hope the weather's also nice in any other country that you have. It's a little bit bleak today, but I'm doing lots of work today, so it doesn't really worry me at all. I'm just enjoying all these lovely people that I deal with every day, so it's a great pleasure for me. Now, I just want to welcome anybody here who's here live, and do feel free to send me a little bit of love and support, or if you're watching later, as I know so many people are busy, I will post up all of the questions either below or above this, so you can sort of skirt through them, and find the ones that might interest you, or the one that you put in. Okay. Also would like to take this time to encourage anybody. It's a women's group that I run called Wonderful Woman's Wisdom on Facebook, and at the moment I'm offering it's a €50 prize for just going in and doing a live, because so many women have a real difficulty about seeing themselves live, about putting themselves out there. So many women are trying to do such great work in their communities, in the world, or just working on themselves, which is, no mean feat either. So, if you are interested in a lovely group that will support you in terms of anything you want some help with, you can put it in with a supportive group, and there's lots of very wise and well qualified women in there as well, who can probably help you with any sort of problem you're having, ranging from physical to diet to, I don't know, anything you need help with. Okay. And as well, doing a live gives you the opportunity to let us know what you're trying to do in the world, and maybe how we can assist you, or how you want to help others. So there's a prize of €50 that I will put into your bank account, or whichever way you want to get it. Or you can either take the €50 if you win it. It's a lucky dip type thing, where if you put the live in, you go into the draw, and the winner will get the €50, or they can choose to have a free session with me for an hour, which is valued at $125. So you can choose either. Okay. Now, so I'm going to get into the questions now. Just wanted to make sure that as many people as possible can go live, because it's a really great thing to build your confidence. And most people are terrified of going live, but that is on a very private page group. No, it doesn't go out into the general public. So it's a great place to practice and get support, and feel like you're being seen and heard, and and get some handy hints and tips about doing lives as well. All right. Okay, so that's the Wonderful Woman's Wisdom group, and it's run by katiekalin.com and Katie Kalin Kinesiology. Right, on with our questions. Yes. Today, how can I get better if my doctor doesn't believe my symptoms are real? Oh dear. I get pain in different places all over my body at different times. It can be crippling. That's awful, isn't it? That your doctor just doesn't sort of believe you. Okay, I tested some goals for this before I started, to save time. The goal I got for this was to know when to change doctors. Well, that sort of tells you, doesn't it? That's what I love about the goals that you test. It actually gives you sometimes a clue or an answer in the goal. To know when to change doctors. Question and statement. She's happy for me to come in? Yeah. She wants to work from 4, from 2. Resource, respect, or balance, daily life, activity, environment, nourishment. So balancing language around this. We want to work with a question, a statement, something she says to herself, something she says to others. A question. What, why, when, how? How can I get my doctor to understand that this is very real for me? Okay? It says we need to balance this. Right. So we balance this by adding, we're going to take away something out of this and put something in. Okay? How can I can I get my doctor to know that my symptoms are real? How can I get my doctor to get my message clearly that I don't appreciate not being believed? Okay, that puts a bit of a different slant on it, doesn't it? Yeah. How can I get my doctor to get the message that I don't appreciate not being believed? Okay. Question, a statement. A nice statement to use statement. You won't change a doctor's attitude through playing the general lackey in the situation and the doctor being the expert. You are actually the expert on your body, because no one else can enter your body and experience your body like you can. When a doctor doesn't believe your symptoms are real, it is because they don't know what to do about the situation, and so they dismiss you. And this is a classic paternal great energy that has come down through the medical system. This is a type of arrogance which gets women to question themselves and their sanity, when in fact they should look the doctor directly in the eye and say something like this: we don't have to continue this conversation if you don't believe me, and in fact, if you don't believe me, you are not the person that I want to spend my money with. Full stop. Full stop. Yeah. We can either take this seriously, or you can apologize and I might forgive you and we can continue to work together, or you can keep your attitude and I will simply find a better doctor. Yes. Whoa! 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 That's strong, isn't it? Yeah. Whew. Fair enough, though, I think. Oh, jeez, what's that? Somebody at my door. Ah, damn. Listen, can you just... I might have to get it because it might be a parcel in one in 2 seconds. Sorry about that. God damn. was somebody trying to sell me some goddamn probably 5G crap. Anyway, so I had to give them a bit of a quick, no, I don't know, go away, please. Okay, so back to this. Wow, that was a very strong response, wasn't it? Wow. Okay, I'm not going to say any more about that, but I think, this is, it's interesting that it said women too, that it's a paternalistic thing that's come down, and it's the way that women get treated. Whereas if a man goes in, maybe, and says, doctor, I'm having all these weird pains all over my body, and they come and they go, and I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the response that they get. Because there's actually been some research around this. It's a great book. I really recommend this book. It's called Medicine Woman by Lucy H. Pierce. And she actually has done huge amounts of proper research, like it's all documented research and everything, about the difference in the way that women get treated within the medical systems. This is not just nationally, but internationally as well. And they find that, things that men tend to suffer from, all the money gets put there. And yet the things that women suffer from don't get the funding. Isn't that just amazing? Things like that, where it's just skewed towards a male system. So it's a really, really interesting read. Not just for women either, for men as well. Listen, I love men, okay? I live with one. I love men. I do love men. But it's the system that seems to be a bit screwy, doesn't it? I mean, Jesus, Anyway, moving on. To know when to change. Oh, yeah, so that was that one. Number 2, I've had so much work done on my neck and back, osteo, chiropractor, physio. Each time I get better, so they obviously are doing a good job, okay, then suddenly I get worse again. Why? The goal that I think here was to know how my body expresses my view of the world. Oh, I love that. To know how my body expresses my view of the world. You are experiencing pain in your neck and back, which is triggered by general stresses and strains and frustrations in your world. This triggering won't go away unless you address the way you experience the world and the meaning you put on things that happen. You can't stop things from happening in your world generally. Some things are, of course, under your control and some are not. But the things that you can't stop from happening, you can change the way you view them. At the moment, you view them through the great glue, the G-L-U-E, the great glue to your past and your childhood. This means that when you experience something, you immediately attach it to a view of the world you picked up in childhood that wasn't helpful. And you have continued to practice this into adulthood so that the effect is cumulative. In other words, when you validate yourself by entering into frustration or fear or any negative emotional state because something happens, it triggers the old past response and view of the world. When you were a child, you didn't know how to process these feelings, and so they became repressed and suppressed. And now they get triggered every time a similar feeling enters your world. And these suppressed, repressed, and blocked feelings in your system express themselves through things like your neck, shoulders, and upper back. They come from beliefs such as, you give me a pain in the neck, and it feels like such a weight on my shoulders when I have to do that. And you you pretend to not care, but when you do, you keep adding to this suppressed load, and this is cumulative, and it builds up, and then you become symptomatic. When you work with the physio, osteo, or whoever, you feel validated and understood and cared for, which is what the child didn't feel, and so this creates a type of healing for you for some time. But then the old problem is still there, the one that needs to be addressed at source. Anything else? Okay, so there you go. There's some old stuff being triggered there. Things like, oh, you give me a pain in the neck, I'm frustrated, you know. And eventually it just builds up and you become symptomatic again. Boom. It's like the old, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back. You know, the poor old camel's cruising along there in the desert and he's got a lot of hay on his back, right? Or whatever, so maybe something heavier. And he seems to be coping. She seems to be coping. And then one day, somebody just puts that little bit more hay on him. And he's fallen over, he's lying in the desert, he's had it. Like, he's symptomatic, he can't do this anymore. But it didn't come from that last bit of hay that you put on, if you know what I mean, that last one thing that happened. No. That was the thing that just triggered, the response to the whole lot of the hay. Or, that it got to a point where the system just couldn't handle it anymore. It had enough. All right? So I hope that makes sense to you. And there's certainly ways you can work on that, so have a think about that. Right, next one. What are my general rights with doctors, consultants, etc.? Okay, so this sounds a little bit similar to the one at the top. I don't know. I presume it's not the same person because I do only ask for one question per person, in fairness. But anyway, that's what it says. What are my general rights with doctors, consultants, etc.? Okay, and the goal I got for this, all right, was to know how to get my needs met with a practitioner. Right, okay, so I'm going to work with this. Are we reversed? Oh, okay, give me a yes, give me a no. We're okay now? Okay, so it's the goal. Let's get focused again here. To know how to get my needs met with a practitioner. It's a question, it's a statement. You are able to do much of your research these days online and get a perspective on your issue before you go to a doctor or consultant. Question. What have you done to find out about your symptoms or disease or problem? This self-responsibility is what is missing in many patients' great reliance on the medical profession. When you go to a doctor or any practitioner, you should have already looked into your situation and go armed with what you know already. This will help you and also help your doctor to point you in the right direction if the GP or whoever doesn't know what to do. It was just my light going out. Oh dear. Don't know what that was all about. Oh well. Oh, we're back. Look at that. Oh, a piece of paper fell on it. There we are. Turned it off. So sensitive. Like be a sensitive wee thing. Okay, so I've lost it now. Sorry. I hope you... Well, you can go back and read that. Hear that anyway. Your part in the relationship with a practitioner, doctor, consultant, whoever, is one of great advocate for yourself. And if you are too unwell or weak or overwhelmed or unsure about anything, you should take an advocate with you. That is someone who knows about your condition and won't be dismissed if she asks difficult questions about your condition or your medication or whatever action the person, doctor, consultant, etc. wants to take. This advocate needs to be assertive and needs to be particularly focused on getting you the answers to help you move forward. How are you placed to ask someone to accompany you in your appointments? The person you get to come with you needs to be present and not overwhelmed by your condition. And they also need to be generally knowledgeable about the medical system or have experienced it themselves before in a similar way, or they get entry into their, or they get entry into their what? Their general knowledge about these things. In other words, they get entry because they just have some general knowledge about these things, okay? In other words, you don't take somebody in who knows less than you do about these things. And they have to not be so close to you, like let's just say it was something terrible, you know, like, I don't know, whatever, a cancer diagnosis or something, do you know? It can't be someone that's so overwhelmed by this that they're freaking out as well, you know. In other words, they can't be an overwhelm about it with you. It has to be somebody almost who can sort of step back a little bit from it, is not too emotionally involved in it. That's a good advocate, you see, because they can go in and be really kind of clear and take notes and, you know, and just not get into overwhelm with you over it. Whereas maybe if it's like your husband or, you know, your mother or whatever, they may be so afraid with you about something that they just, you know, they're like a bunny in the headlights too, and you just need somebody who really can just go, right, this is it, you know, and I'm going to get the best information for you here and help you work out what they want you to do and why they want you to do it and what's the evidence around this and so on and so forth. Okay? Yeah. Anything else? This is the best way to move forward if you are in overwhelm or so fearful that you can't think straight, or you have got a serious diagnosis recently and you are struggling to take it in. While you are struggling to take things in, you can't really engage as your own advocate because all parts of you are struggling with the diagnosis, and so it's hard to be there and be really on top of these things. So, anything else? Anything else? So there you go. That's one way you can approach it. Find yourself somebody who's switched on, you know, somebody who's switched on, and say, you know, could you come with me to the doctor and just kind of, you know, ask the questions that need to be asked if I don't think of them, and, you know, and help me get information about, you know, it might be that you're really afraid because I've said, oh, you're going to have, I don't know, something, whatever, and you're not sure whether you want to have it or not, you know, that kind of thing. Then, you know, to maybe go back with an advocate and think of and before you go in, once again, do your homework before you go and talk to them about what you really want to know. You know, you might want to know what are the side effects and you know, what are the rate of people that get better because of doing this particular treatment, and what is the evidence that's out there before you make a decision, because it's your body. It's not the doctor's body. It's your body. And don't forget that. You own your body. Nobody should be able to do anything to your body without you saying yes. Now that's unless, of course, you are unconscious when somebody else has to make a choice, or, you know, or somebody is just seriously doesn't have enough mental capacity to make these decisions. As an adult, of course, as an adult we're talking here. All right, so I just hope that's helpful in terms of empowering you. Now, the next one's interesting. My toes hurt on my left foot when I'm walking. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does come on, it feels like my toes are broken. It's that intense. Like, ow, that sounds awful. So the goal is to know why I'm experiencing pain in the toes of my left foot. Okay. Your toes won't express this great pain when you are able to express your great emotional pain without judgment. The toes represent the sinuses in the head and many other upper torso, sorry, that was wrong, and many other upper parts of the body, including things like ears, eyes, and nose around the base of the toes. Your toes won't know why they are so painful, but they can place where your great pain resides. For example, at the base of the little and next toe represents your ears. So, if this is painful around this area, it may be to do with your ear, and that could mean either you are experiencing some form of hearing loss, or you are experiencing some pain from hearing things in the past that are not resolved or processed. You can place how this pain is express how this pain is voiced in the body by engaging with your toes and asking them when they are in pain, how do you want me to experience this pain? Stay present to the pain in your toes. Do not try to wish it away or ignore it, but instead stay very present to it and voice any pain you have that is going on in you at the moment. By that we mean emotional or mental pain, or grief, or sadness, etc. The toes are getting triggered by your general avoidance of your feelings in placing yourself last and concentrating on everything else that has to be done, etc., practical things, people to be taken, diddly-do, things like that. And your toes bring you back to you and say, hey, what about this pain? And it is in your best interests to become present to that pain and then to express any emotional pain you have through writing or speaking to someone or working with it in any creative sense. That is dance, singing, drawing, painting, any of the arts that can help you express this pain, get it out of you and process it. Okay, so that's that. Little toes, just giving you a little message there. This is some stuff that you need to process. Okay. Next one. What are we going? Oh, we're going really well. It's like time has stood still. Even managed to answer the door within it. Sorry about that, by the way. I'm actually waiting on a really important parcel. So, okay, next one. Oh, the next one is interesting. I have little red, itchy spots all over my body, and it looks like a rash. I've taken antihistamines, but there's been no improvement. What is causing this rash all over my body? Okay. The goal I got from this was to know how my body places itself between any pathogen and my general system. Okay, it's got positive energy into the energy field. We can. Okay, what do we want to do? I want to work with. When you watch this, put your hands on your tummy underneath your navel and notice the feelings in your tummy. This feeling represents your present worries and concerns about this rash. You won't alleviate these worries until you have been seen by a medical doctor, just in case it is anything like scabies or some parasitic infection or something like that. If it is, you can take some medicine in your bath to get rid of this. But they are infectious, and so you should make sure you don't have something like that. So, a trip to the doctor is in order. If it turns out there is nothing like this going on, it is it is goo. It is what? It is probably childhood great trauma that is being expressed in the body. This trauma can come out at any time in our lives when it is triggered by something. your body protects your whole organism from poisons and toxins and invaders through your skin, which creates the barrier to protect you. When this barrier is disrupted through an invasion like a rash or some sort of worrying symptom, it often is a childhood trauma that is being triggered. The best thing to do here is to get medical advice first to rule out any invasion from a pathogen or a bacteria or a parasite, and just make sure it's not that. Then, once these things have been cleared, you can go to work on how this is being triggered and what your body is trying to tell you needs to be worked on. Your body is incredibly intelligent. The intelligence of the body far surpasses the intelligence of the small biocomputer at the top of the body. This biocomputer, known as your brain, gets confused if you put in more than 7 pieces of information at once. But your body's intelligence functions on many levels with great complexities and practically is a genius. I love that. So we're all geniuses because we've all just got a body. That's true. These bodies are genius the way they work, aren't they? I love that. You are residing in a genius. Okay. This genius body that you reside in won't put up with things forever. It decides when you are ready to deal with something, and it gives you a little nudge at first, or a tiny whisper, or it starts to get a little frustrated with you, so it gives you more symptoms and maybe some more pain, or something flares up, or the pain worsens, etc. This is your body telling you that you need to address something that you are not aware of. So, even though you may know that you had a troubled upbringing or whatever, this doesn't rule out the fact that most childhood trauma isn't remembered. Remember that trauma is not the event that happens, but the great change that happens in the child in response to an event. This great change results in the child feeling that they are generally not good enough, or what? Or only loved when they are the best at something, and so feel unloved and easily rejected. There are many childhood traumas that we walk around with and still function quite well in the world, but within our deepest parts we feel vulnerable or scared or unsupported. And these feelings are usually tracked right back to early childhood, where we created a view of the world and a belief system that didn't support us very well. But at the time, it was used to survive, because the child didn't have the support to process their feelings about the event. These events can be very small or very large, but it is the response to the event which either creates trauma or does not. So a child can go through a terrible event, like the loss of someone in their family, or a great disaster like an earthquake, losing a home, etc., but still not be traumatized by it. When they are parented with love and support and a recognition that the child needs to understand why they feel the way they do and how they can change the way they feel into something more life-affirming for them. So, for example, if there was an earthquake and the child and family lost their home, everyone will feel extremely vulnerable, of course. But often the parents get so wound up in doing the practical things to survive that they forget to address the emotional life of the child. This is done through sitting the child down and getting them to express how they feel about all of it. You can get them to draw a picture or to get going writing down the story of what happened if they are old enough. Then from this you can address their fears and worries and concerns and get them to see this as a challenge but not a as a problem that can't ever be solved. In doing this, you empower the child to feel powerful in the situation and give them coping skills to manage. So, one would acknowledge all of their fears and feelings and grief without trying to stop them from crying or expressing it, but by holding them gently and giving them physical support. And then once they have gone through this expression in this moment, you can talk to them about how they can see themselves as this wonderful survivor and how strong and brilliant and wonderful they are that they have survived, and how exciting it will be to create a new home, and what colour would you like your room to be, and so on. So we allow full expression without editing it. But once the expression is done for now, then we turn to resourcing the child so that they can reframe the whole event into a challenging and positive experience internally. Not that the event is positive, but that they can be positive about their own ability to survive and manage. Okay, so that went off on a bit of a tangent there by the looks of it, but there's some good educative stuff in there, I think, for people. But yeah, it's just saying, I think, you do need to just go and get that checked. Okay, make sure it's not just something that, you might have, I know, like things like scabies that are very, very easy to be picked up, just even off, like going to a pub, you can pick them up off the toilet seat, and you wouldn't even know until they've embedded in your body and they start to turn up and make you itchy, scratchy all over. And I know that does make a little pinprick red rash on people. So, you do want to rule those things out. Absolutely you do, because they're very easy to pass on to people. Okay, so make sure you just go and find out what it either is or is not, if you know what I mean. And once you rule out all of those medical, or all those things that need to have medical attention, then, you know, you can look at maybe if there's something else more internal that is creating this problem. Okay? Yeah. Right. Oh. Right. So the last one now. So I'm always amazed how the general operating device always gets my timing absolutely perfect. I just, they say small things amuse small minds, and I obviously have a small mind, but that just always tickles me pink. It really does. It's like somebody's looking after me. Okay, the last one. This person is wondering why she can't be disciplined about her work. She finds that getting up and getting to work just seems really, really hard, and she's very reluctant, okay, to get moving. She leaves everything to the last minute, and then, you know, sort of has to get a taxi or something because she's left it too late, and, you know, that kind of thing. She said she's not making her own lunches either. These are things that she just, you know, wants to do, but she just can't seem to get a handle on them. So the goal I tested around this was, how can I get my energy aligned with my work? I like it. This could be a good one for lots of us, right? And I'm sure there are many people out there that really have felt the same way as you. You know, I just can't get out. I know I need to go, I have to go, I should go. I just can't get out of bed. I just don't want to do it. That resistance. Okay. You can get your energy aligned with your work by writing down all of the good things about your job and why you like it there and how you can advance through this position. This acknowledgement of the gifts that this job gives you gets you to wonder about how you can create more excuse me, more value. Oh, I've got to kind of cough, I'm sorry. I'm back. I just need to, I think, a little drink of water more than anything. Oh. That's better. Sorry about that, folks. Lots of interruptions today. Okay. So doing this exercise can help you to notice how you can create more value in your work by focusing on how this can feed into the future that you want. At the moment, you are not focused on this. You are focused on the day-to-day grind of going to work and getting money for doing that without any great long-term vision for yourself. And this is what is demotivating for you. Get clear on how you would like your life just reminding me I have to finish because I've got a client coming. So focus on how you would like your life to look in 2 years' time, and think about how you can work with the job you have to create that, or get a new job if that suits you better. When you are motivated by your vision of the future and a plan to get there, you will feel like getting out of bed more and getting there early to present your case to your manager or whoever for advancement. This is what will motivate you. In terms of your lunch, prepare a menu for the week on Sunday of things that excite you, that you would love to eat, and then prepare some of that food on Sunday night and freeze some if necessary, or keep your recipes nearby and make your lunch when you get home rather than waiting till the following morning or thinking you will do it later at night. Do some cooking, as this will keep better and be more enjoyable than sandwiches and so on. That's it, folks. I've got to go. Right, remember, those of you who haven't had a free half-hour online session with me, I'll put the link, a bit.ly link for that. You can come to me and have a half-hour free online session with me, okay, about whatever your issue is. If you've already done one with me, sorry folks, that's it. Otherwise, so if you're a woman and you want to get involved in a very lovely, beautiful, supportive group that I run, it is called Wonderful Women's Wisdom, and it's got a lady. You're looking at her back, and she's got her arms out like that, so you'll know that one because I think there's a couple of wisdomy ones there, right? It's run by Katie Kalin Kinesiology, anyway, or katiekalin.com. So, if you want to do a live and break your live virginity, as some people put it, because it is hard the first one you do, but it's great for your confidence. So I really encourage you to come into my group. This is only a little challenge I'm doing this week. Finishes at, I think I said 10 o'clock Sunday. And then all of those who have done a live, I'll put you into a drawer, and I have a €50 note somewhere, that I'm going to give to the person I draw out of the hat. So it's not based on who did the best live. It's just on the fact that you're brave enough to do one about who you are, what are you doing, how you'd like to contribute either to the world or change something either in your community, your world, or in yourself, and what are you up to, kind of thing, and also to ask for any support that you might want if you're starting something out, starting to do something. What support are you looking for? Because within our group we've got some fantastic people, some fantastic women. So that's it. Go there and do a wee live and feel proud of yourself after you've done it, and maybe win yourself €50. And if you don't want the €50, you can have either the €50 or a 1 hour session with me, either online or in my clinic, and that's worth €125. So that's worth winning. Okay, guys. Have a fabulous day. It's absolutely hosing down out here. It's wild out there now. But I'm going to see my gorgeous client who should be turning up any minute. Take care. Bye-bye.